Now, there's a misconception out there that Montana Knife Company builds their knives purely to be used in the backcountry. But because of designs like the mini Speedgoat 2.0 that I have riding right here, they make for excellent, discreet, compact carry for basic utility tasks around town, and therefore not just designed for a guide hunting and fishing in the wilderness of Montana. But because it weighs next to nothing and its compact, thin profile, it really sits well on something like a chest pack, your binocular setup. And now, having carried this blade for a few months and used it in several different applications, I'm looking forward to unpacking with you my thoughts on how it performs as that pocket EDC fixed blade for utility tasks, whether or not it excels as a companion blade when you're in the outdoors for Woodcraft, and finally, what a sportsman can expect out of this tool. And I can tell you right now that it falls short in one of these three applications. And for all you blade purists and knife nerds, like myself, I totally put myself in that category, stay tuned, because I'm gonna give you my thoughts on the company overall and where I feel like it fits in the knife world. So, we're gonna find out where it excels, where it lags, and whether or not the mini Speedgoat 2.0 makes sense for you or not. If you're new to the channel, welcome. This is Gideonstactical. Let's dive in and have some fun. Guys, I got a wild turkey right over there. I don't know if you guys can see it. Too bad. Oh, here comes another one. Look right there. Right there. Didn't know I was so stealthy. Too bad it's not turkey season. So what kind of power is the mini Speedgoat 2.0 packing, and why do we even have a 2.0? What have they changed? Well, this is sporting a 3-inch blade that is 0.09 on the stock thickness with a full flat grind. So this thing is scalpel thin, and that's going to play into some of its capabilities, but also some of its limitations as we put it through its paces. Now, what they have changed is mainly around the guard. They have made the guard a little bit more pronounced, making it easier to engage with the Kydex sheath and giving you just a little bit more to kind of keep you locked into place there. And then they have changed and kind of, I believe, lengthened the handle ergonomics a little bit with that now from Montana Knife Company kind of iconic paracord wraps that they do. Now, this is 3 3/4 inch long. My knuckle span is 3 1/4 inch, like this, with large size gloves. So it means I have just enough real estate. So I never had the original, but this one keeps me just locked into place, giving me full real estate with all of my fingers and doesn't create any sort of hot spots for certain types of tasks and leave something to be desired with other tasks. So how does this perform, not here in the high country, but first in everyday utility tasks? How do you think? Slicey every time. Whoosh. Just gonna go right through there. Basically like a razor blade. The tip is so fine, excellent for piercing, excellent for any type of penetration in that way. It's effortless to just go whoosh, right through that. But don't be prying on that. You're gonna absolutely snap the tip on that with just like the littlest of, and you're gonna be missing a tip. Now, there are currently 2 steel choices on this model. 52-100, which is a ball bearing steel. It's an excellent steel, used it several times, very pleased with how it performs, but usually they come with some sort of coating. I believe Montana Knife Company does a parkerized coating to help fight rust and those type of things. So if you prefer a uncoated blade in this size range, which is kind of more what I go for, then you would want to go with what I have here, which is the MagnaCut version. Now, MagnaCut is kind of the trifecta if you're new to knives. It has good wear resistance, good toughness, and good rust resistance, and an excellent choice for this type of blade. And I know some people get nervous about the ease of resharpening in the field with stainless high hardness blades like this MagnaCut. But guys, I've honed this a few times with just a simple work sharp field sharpener like I have right here, one of my favorites to use in the field. And when I lost that little bit of bitiness, you know, over time, after the several months of use I've been using this blade for, I re-honed this thing with this sharpener in like 5 minutes flat, like no problem problem, and this is very compact and very easy to do. You don't need to bust out a huge, like, you know, reprofiling kit or something every time you resharpen this Magna Cut blade. You can hone it in the field without issue. And it's pretty easy to see if you like using knives, say like a Spyderco Delica, to do your EDC work, utility work. This is going to perform very similarly in edge, geometry, and slicing power. Okay, so where do I not like using this tool? Because there's one application, this would not be my first choice, wouldn't even be my second choice. Well, it's really any type of woods craft. It's just not designed for that. Putting all the pressure when I do it like that right back here on my pinky. You basically have to grip it with your thumb right there. A hammer grip. It wants to just push back in your hand. The very thin, very high, full flat grind is just not ideal. It's not going to bite into wood. It tends to kind of slide off. Now, I mean, that doesn't mean you couldn't force a feather stick. You couldn't force a spear point. But this is not something I want to be using to make multiple notches, make multiple feather sticks. It just isn't really designed for that. The spine is so thin, especially at the tip, that it's not very comfortable to press on to make a notch. And then the paracord wrap, though ideal for those utility and kind of slim EDC tasks, because it is thin, it just doesn't give you quite the fullness of bearing down when you have to push through a really hard piece of material like wood. Going through cardboard, going through different, you know, materials, rope, cordage, all that, absolutely no problem. So that is where, if you are looking at this as like a companion blade to go with your hatchet, go with a large chopper, whatever, survival knife, there's just way better options out there. Now, this knife is designed with certain applications in mind and the ultimate goal to help you cut stuff. Well, in the same way, the sponsor of today's video is designed to help you stay hydrated in the most straightforward and simplistic way. And I'm talking about Hardside Hydration and their Swig rig systems. Now, they are also a Montana-based company, and Dane and Dustin, the owners and founders, are avid outdoorsmen and hunters. And the Swig rig system screws onto your favorite rigid water bottle, regardless if that's like a Nalgene, certain Yeti bottles, different things like that. As an added bonus, you can either go with the ultralight Swig rig if you like having 28mm mouth bottles like a Smart bottle and you want to cut down on weight. But if you're looking to stay hydrated for longer periods of time, their inline nano filter is probably the fastest way I've found to filter water on the go. You can just scoop up from any water source, drop your nano filter in, which is attached to the Swig rig, screw it down, keep on hiking, keep on drinking. So it is a really cool setup. I've been using it for years on trail now. I have an exclusive link as well as promo code for you guys, which will help you save 10% site-wide. So I encourage you, check them out, see the different options and applications that these come into play so that you guys can stay hydrated on all of your adventures. So I would argue that the design of the sheath is one of the major factors to this being such a versatile and easy to pocket carry EDC, but also not lag in its outdoor capability. This is a Kydex sheath, extremely well built with lots of different lashing points and options. It does have a tension screw, so you can dial in tension, loose, tight, whatever you want. It is silent, so that is very good if you're stalking, but has excellent tension, so you can carry it in all sorts of different canters, things like that. Has an excellent thumb ramp, so makes it very easy to then deploy and remove the blade. And the tension, because of the paracord, is around that guard, so that it really helps with that kind of secure click. Because it's such a slim profile, just look at that, but because of that little tab right there, it allows you to pocket carry and it stays right in your pocket, disappears. I mean, this is, I believe, slimmer than, say, like a Spyderco Delica. So it's cool that I can be EDCing this around town, drive up in the woods, take it off my pocket, lash it right to my chest pack, and I still got a compact fixed blade ready to rock and roll. And then, not to be outdone, you can pick this up separately, a leather sheath option. Very dense leather, super high quality. Gonna have the same style of clip right there. Excellent tension. I mean, the knife isn't gonna go anywhere, but I mean, that's like a whole nother level of classy for pocket carry. So we have 2 applications down, 1 still to go. The sportsman, the hunter, the fisherman, and how this plays into those applications, as well as a competitive option for those applications, I'll hit here momentarily. But let's talk pricing real quick. Now, MKC reached out to me back at the new year and said, hey, we've seen that you've reviewed some of our other models, a lot of the original, like the original Stone Goat, things like that. Would you be interested in testing out a 2.0? I've been eyeballing for a while as a pocket EDC. That's probably where I would carry it the most. If you're willing to send a sample, I'd give it a good thorough run through. They're willing to send a sample over. That's it. They don't know when I'm posting the video, what I'm talking about, anything like that. I just have an affiliate link popping up right there. So if at any point in time, any MKC knife makes sense for you, always appreciate it. That helps me get out here and test the blades and show you what they can and can't do. Now, these are made in the USA, and regardless if you go with the 52-100 or the MagnaCut, they are going to be $200 ballpark on average currently. Now, they do drops every Thursday, but I believe they're trying to keep like these models, some of their base models, in stock at all times. So you can check those out, you know, at any point in time. You don't have to wait necessarily for a drop. If it is out of stock, I'm sure it'll come back pretty quick now at this point. And I think that's a perfect segue into kind of cost to value and just where I see, you know, MKC overall in the knife world. And this coming from someone who loves blades. I have more knives than I know what to do with. I have the most premium tools like ever made by man, and have been able to use them, test them, and it is like epic to have that in the rotation. I don't need another free knife. If after this video MKC is like, oh, we don't like, you know, we're not sending you any more free blades, I could be like, I could give a rip. I could care less if I get another free blade or not. Here's what matters. Truth darts, right? So I think a lot of what happens for us, and this is a fair criticism for MKC, is that we see the paracord wrap handle for $200 and we're like, yeah, MagnaCut's good, the Kydex is good, but man, like I can spend around that same price and get a White River, you know, like AXIOM, almost the exact same style of blade with my Carta MagnaCut USA made super premium for around that same cost. So I'm like missing out, and that's a fair criticism. I get it. I did have to get an Ulti-Clip, and this is much bigger, broader footprint. There are days where I love having the handle ergonomics of that White River, but there are days where I love the just drop in my pocket and the slimmer profile of the MKC. So it just kind of depends on the day. As to the brand itself, I think this is what a lot of us in the knife world miss. We see commercials, we see promotion, we see them on podcasts and all this stuff, and we're like, it's just hype. Here's what we're missing. Since day one, when I first saw them kind of coming on the scene, I feel like they had this huge net that is able to scoop up and bring in a whole new generation of hunters, fishermen, outdoorsmen, people interested in the outdoors, self-reliant, people who I believe are going to become huge, massive knife nerds, and that is an excellent thing. And for whatever reason, MKC is able to do something that White River, HOGUE, TJ Schwartz, Architect, they're never going to be able to do, is bring that whole new generation, people who would never be interested in a blade or be interested in hunting or fishing or outdoorsmanship, and all of a sudden they see some promotion and they see some stuff and they see a commercial, they see, you know, what they're doing, and you're like, I want to try that. I want to get into that. What? Why don't I carry a fixed blade around? Why don't I do that? And before you know it, we have these people and just a whole massive wave of people coming into this space that would have never done it otherwise, would have never been into this space without MKC. So I think that is a very good thing on what they're doing for the knife world, and is kind of overlooked sometimes, and we kind of poo-poo on their success, and we miss on what they're actually doing in the long term for the knife world and the outdoor world as a whole. And a rising tide raises all ships, in my personal opinion. That's me. What do you guys think? So obviously this is designed as a hunting knife, a game processing knife to clean meat, to clean fish, to carry in your kill kit. It'll absolutely be ideal for that type of stuff. It is designed for that, with its sweep, with its compact size, ease of guidance, and just precision cutting capability. All those things are absolutely working in this knife's favor. Now, something that you always need to consider with that is the paracord wrap portion. That makes it customizable, it makes it maintainable, that you can do different things with. But if this gets really nasty, gunky, you know, with a bunch of fish that you've cleaned, you know, it's all bloody and guts, on one hand, that's really cool, but it's going to stink. And then what are you going to do? You're either going to have to wash it and clean it, or you're going to have to be rewrapping this every time you gunk it out with a new set of paracord. So you better be good at paracord wrapping. It's not that difficult. You can watch a couple quick videos. Montana Knife Company even has. Okay, so where do I see this fitting in for me personally? As a game and trout knife, wouldn't be my first choice. It's because of that paracord wrap handle. I don't want to deal with the maintenance headache of it getting nasty, stinky, whatever. I prefer G10 handles. So I would be looking at either a different Montana Knife Company blade that carries G and has G10 because they make that, or something like we previously spoke about, like a HOGUE ENTRAK with those G10 handles. Much easier to clean, maintain, and just less of a headache for me personally. Where I absolutely get a thrill out of carrying it is in my EDC rotation, when I want a slim, compact fixed blade that operates like a compact folder and gives me just extra durability, and especially if you use that pocket sheath, dude, freaking sick. And that's where it's going to be in rotation for me personally, is as a pocket EDC knife. And if you were looking at this blade for that type of application, I don't think you're going to be disappointed. But that's me and my mileage. I want to know from you guys, what's your take? What's your thoughts on MKC, on this particular model, especially if you own it? Where do you use it? And I always appreciate you guys hanging. Till next time, check out the other video and subscribe. And always remember to stay equipped, stay prepared, and I'll see you out there.